Are you looking for an athletic scholarship? You're in the right place. This is the Recruit Me Athletic Scholarship Podcast, the longest-running podcast on recruiting and athletic scholarships. We're here to help your family navigate the recruiting road all the way to an athletic scholarship. He's a recruiting expert and a dad of 2 college athletes. He has a wealth of experience to share. Here's Recruit Me CEO, Brent Hanks.
Welcome to episode 495 of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast. The Athletic Scholarship Podcast is the world's longest-running athletic recruiting education weekly podcast that started in October of 2025 by the Recruit Me founder, John Fugler. I purchased Recruit Me from Mr. Fugler in June of 2020, and I have continued to provide potential student athletes and their families recruiting advice and guided tips to help you find that right fit college and sports program for you. Recruit Me can help you to reduce the time you spend, the money you spend, and the anxiety that comes with the recruiting process. Back in episode 463, the episode covered the House versus NCAA settlement for Division I. The settlement was done back in June 2025, and they were set up to take effect for the 2025-2026 season. Some recent Facebook posts from Showcase and College Baseball caught my attention about this. They were about the changes that are occurring in college baseball as the aforementioned settlement takes effect for this season. So today I'm going to start off with Gronk 3's response to when I ask for the NCAA Division I baseball rules, scholarship, and roster changes for the 2026 season, which is the 2025-2026 academic year. These changes primarily stem from the House versus the NCAA settlement and related governance updates. These affect scholarships and rosters far more than on-field playing rules. Gronk says, roster and scholarship changes effective 2025-2026 academic year. The most significant changes stem from the House versus NCAA antitrust settlement, approved and implemented starting August 1, 2025. These eliminate traditional scholarship caps and introduce strict roster limits for Division I baseball. Roster limit, capped at 34 players per team. Scholarships. Baseball shifts from equivalency sport, previously limited to 11.7 partial scholarships, with a 25% minimum per scholarship is eliminated. It now allows up to 34 full scholarships, 1 for each roster spot. Schools may award partial or full aid to any rostered player, but not all programs will reach 34 due to budget constraints and Title IX compliance. These rules apply to schools opting into the settlement. Most power conferences are required. Others may opt out and retain higher rosters, e.g. 40. Protections exist for current student athletes to avoid mid-eligibility roster cuts. One of the Showcase and College Baseball posts on Facebook is under the heading of Recruiting 2026 Challenge. It has 5 subject headings: MLB Draft Smaller, D1 Roster Caps, Transfer Portal, Extra Eligibility, and Trickle-Down Effect. It says, why is it harder than ever, and what to do? The old way of getting recruited is dead. Between NCAA rule changes and legal rulings, the landscape has shifted under our feet. Here's a breakdown of the perfect storm hitting college baseball right now. Number 1, the MLB draft is smaller. The change, draft cut from 40 rounds to 20. The result, hundreds of pro-ready kids who used to sign are now flooding college rosters. The vibe, freshmen aren't just competing with seniors. They're competing with guys who turned down $200,000 signing bonuses. Image of a crowded room with the caption, high school recruits trying to find roster spot in 2026. Number 2, Division I roster cap, the 34 rule. The change, D1 rosters are now capped at 34 players, down from 40 plus. The reality, scholarship money is up, but spots are down. The impact, the walk-on is becoming an endangered species. If you aren't ready to contribute on day 1, you're a liability to the cap. Number 3, the transfer portal is the new priority. The shift, coaches are choosing proven commodities, 21-year-olds over potential 18-year-olds. Why? Why risk a scholarship on a high school kid when you can get an all-conference junior from the portal? Number 4, the Diego Pavia tidal wave, extra eligibility. The change, a new ruling means JUCO years might not count against your D1 clock. The result, older, stronger, grown man strength players are staying in the system longer. The impact, positions that used to open up due to graduation are staying occupied by 23-year-old veterans. Number 5, the trickle-down effect. This isn't just a D1 problem. Elite talent pushed out of D1 is flooding D2, D3, and NAIA. The talent floor has been raised everywhere. There are no easy levels anymore. How to survive the tidal wave. Get visibility early. Showcases and film are no longer optional. Be realistic. D2, NAIA, JUCO are not backups. They are highly competitive battlegrounds. Development is keying. You have to show up on campus with a college-ready body and mindset. The JUCO route. It's becoming the smartest move for many to bridge the gap and get playing talent. These 5 points from Showcase and college baseball are changes right now in the Division I college baseball. But these changes can transfer to different levels of college baseball and throughout many different college sports. In point number 3, the transfer portal is a new priority. Is one of the main reasons the 7 steps to an athletic scholarship are really relevant. The planning ahead and the research early in your recruiting journey will pay off for your right fit choice as an upperclassman. Not all D1 programs are recruiting only out of the transfer portal. You can fill out your parameters worksheet, then build your college school list on the college school list worksheet. The college research worksheet provides you with a section to do a roster audit. You should record how many players are on the roster, how many players are in your position, and how many players are on the roster and in your position that are seniors, juniors, sophomores, and freshmen. You can look to see where the players were actually recruited from. Most team websites list where the player is from and where their last school was, whether it's high school or a 2-year or 4-year college. You can tally how many players are on the roster from their high school, how many came from a junior college or a 2-year school, and how many came from a 4-year school. Even before the transfer portal exploded, I told student athletes to be ready to be recruited on top of, meaning that coaches don't just recruit you and then stop recruiting for that position. Just because you made it to your junior year of college on a team or were an all-conference player, the team is looking to add a player or players that can improve the team. The Recruit Me 7 Steps to an Athletic Scholarship are relevant for not only high school student athletes, but for junior college or 2-year college student athletes, and for 4-year college student athletes. Again, using the parameters worksheet, the college school list worksheet, and the college research worksheet will be beneficial to all student athletes that are moving from one school to another. All of the advice that the Showcase and college baseball post gave is very good advice, but their post and most of the other posts that I see don't start or promote the planning and research that the Recruit Me 3.0 system gives you. Another recent Showcase and college baseball social media post is called Important Recruiting Update, Roster Caps and Scholarships. It reads like this. If you or your athlete are looking at schools for next year, you need to know that not everyone is moving to the new NCAA revenue sharing model. Currently, 54 schools have opted out of revenue sharing. This includes the entire Ivy League and Patriot League. What does this mean for baseball recruits? Schools that opt out will continue to operate under the old rules rather than the new expanded limits. Here is the breakdown. Roster size, limited to a 35-man hard cap. Unlike schools that opt in, there are no designated student athletes allowed beyond this number. Scholarships. The limit remains at 11.7 to be divided among a maximum of 27 players. Preferred walk-ons, or PWOs. Because of the scholarship and roster structure, these schools will still have PWOs. Why this matters. The recruiting landscape is splitting into 2 different paths. Make sure you are asking coaches specifically whether their program is opting in or out, so that you understand exactly how many roster spots and scholarship dollars are actually available. Knowledge is power in the recruiting process. Here's a quick summary for baseball parents and recruits. If a school is on this list, they are not following the new NCAA roster caps, which can be as low as 34 for those who opt in. Instead, they are sticking with the traditional 35-man limit. This is a critical detail for any player looking for a walk-on opportunity, as these spots are effectively disappearing in the opt-in schools. Why this matters for the baseball roster. For schools that are not in the sharing revenue, they do not get the benefit of the new higher roster caps, which go up to 34 for those who opt in. Instead, they stick to the old hard cap of 35 players and 11.7 scholarship limit. This creates a unique advantage for these schools to keep preferred walk-ons, as schools that opt in may actually have to cut their total roster size down to meet the new stricter caps. One of the main points I got from this post was that you need to have questions ready and ask coaches questions. One of the questions, especially for baseball, is a direct question of how many scholarships is your baseball program giving, and how long are you going to commit to this number? The opt-in programs can give up to 34 full scholarships. As of now, I have not found a resource or even a team's website that publishes the stated number of scholarships a baseball program is offering at any given time or time frame. Remember, I'm talking about the D1 level. Also remember that there are multiple levels of play within the D1 level. There are schools that will be able to fully fund all 34 D1 scholarships. There will be schools that may only fund 10 to 12, or there will be schools that are somewhere in between. Remember, we are only talking about athletic scholarships. For most baseball programs, they will not be able to fund a large number of the 34 athletic scholarships allotted by the new NCAA rules. According to a chart on the ncsasports.org website, here are the scholarship adjustments for each D1 sport. Tumbling goes from 14 to 55. Baseball, 11.7 to 34. Men's basketball, 13 to 15. Women's basketball, 15 and stays at 15. Beach volleyball, 6 to 19. Men's cross country, 5 scholarships to 17 total scholarships. Women's cross country, 6 to 17. Field hockey, 12 to 27. Football, 85 to 105. Men's golf, 4.5 to 9. Women's golf, 6 to 9. Men's gymnastics, 6.3 to 20. Women's gymnastics, 12 to 20. Men's ice hockey, 18 to 26. Women's ice hockey, 18 to 26. Men's track, 12.6 to 45. Women's track, 18 to 45. Men's lacrosse, 12.6 to 48 scholarships. Women's lacrosse, 12 to 38 scholarships. Women's rowing, 20 to 68 scholarships. Men's soccer, 9.9 to 28. And women's soccer, 14 to 28. Softball, 12 to 25. Men's and women's stunt, 14 to 65. Men's swimming, 9.9 to 30. Women's swimming, 14 to 30. Men's tennis, 4.5 to 10. Women's tennis, 8 to 10. Women's triathlon, 6.5 to 14. Men's volleyball, 4.5 to 18. Women's volleyball, 12 to 18. Men's water polo, 4.5 to 24. Women's water polo, 8 to 24. Men's wrestling, 9.9 to 30. And women's wrestling, 10 to 30. An article on the ncsasports.org website called New NCAA Scholarship and Roster Limits for 2025-2026 from October of 2025 has some key takeaways. Like scholarship limits are gone. Schools can now give full or partial scholarships to all athletes, as long as the team stays under the new roster limit for that sport. It could provide more opportunities for athletes, especially in smaller non-revenue sports. It explains the scholarship types. All sports will now be classified as equivalency sports, allowing schools to offer partial scholarships. This is a huge change from the current system where some sports like football, basketball, and volleyball were head count sports and only offered full scholarships. And remember, NIL, student athletes will still be able to profit off their name, image, and likeness, but there will be changes to regulations of deals and enforcement. It has a paragraph about how would NCAA roster limits impact walk-ons. Walk-ons have historically been a big part of Division I programs because of current NCAA scholarship limits. But with the new NCAA scholarship rules and roster limits starting in 2025-26, coaches will need to rethink how they manage scholarships and roster spots. The exact impact on walk-ons is unknown at this time and will vary across different sports and schools depending on their size and budget. To understand how roster limits might affect you, we recommend staying in touch with coaches. Ask them about their plans for walk-ons, as this can vary widely between programs. It asks the question, do all schools have to follow the new model? All Power 5 schools plus Notre Dame must follow new rules. Other Division I schools can choose to opt in. NCAA Division II and Division III schools are not yet affected, though further adjustments may eventually ripple into their divisions. NCSA says, preparing for the change. Here's what you can do right now to prepare. Stay informed and ask questions. Educate yourself. Show your value and focus on performance. Highlight your skills to coaches, demonstrating your versatility and value. Maintain strong academics and athletics, as both are crucial in scholarship decisions. Staying proactive and educating yourself, your family, and anyone included in your decision-making process, then you can be better prepared for upcoming changes and maximize the opportunities they present. The two resources referenced, the social media of Showcase and College Baseball, and the ncsasports.org website, give some terrific recruiting advice, tips, and information. Take advantage of their free help. But they also don't directly guide you through the very basics that RecruitMe gives you. Go to the recruit-me.com website and get access to the RecruitMe 3.0 system for only $39. Thank you for listening, and join me next week for another 15 minutes that will change your athletic scholarship future.